Albert down under. Albert were what you'd call thwarted. He had long had an ambition which were to save up and go to Australia. It was the saving up that were the itch. He'd a red money box on the pot shelf, a post office thing made of tin, but with him and his dad and the bread knife, it never had anything in. He were properly held up for bobbins, as the folk at the mill used to say, till he hit on a simple solution. He'd go as a young stowaway. He studied the sailing lists daily and at last found a ship as would do. SS Tosser, a freighter from Fleetwood, via Cape Horn to Woolloomooloo. He went off next evening to Fleetwood and found her there, loaded and cold, slipped over the side in the darkness and downstairs and into the hold. The hold, it were choked up with cargo. He groped with his hands in the gloom, squeezed through bars of what felt like a grating, and found he had plenty of room. Some straw had been spilled in one corner. He thankfully threw himself flat. He thought he could hear someone breathing, but he were too tired to fret about that. When he woke, they were out in mid-ocean. He turned, and in light which were dim, looked straight in the eyes of a lion that were lying there looking at him. His heart came right up to his tonsils as he gazed at that big yellow face. Then it smiled, and they both said together, "Well, isn't the world a small place?" The lion were none other than Wallace. He were going to Sydney too, to fulfil a short starring engagement at a cage at Taronga Park Zoo. As they talked, they heard footsteps approaching. "Someone's coming," whispered Wallace. "Quick, hide." He opened his mouth to the fullest, and Albert sprang nimbly inside. "'Twere captain on morning inspection." When he saw Wallace shamming to doze, he picked up a straw from his bedding and started to tickle his nose. Now Wallace could never stand tickling. He let out a mumbling roar, and before he could do out about it, he'd sneezed Albert out on the floor. The captain went white to the wattles. He said, "I'm a son of a gun." He had heard of beasts bringing up children, but the first time as he'd seen it done. He soon had the radio crackling and flashing the tale far and wide of the lad who'd set out for Australia, stored away in the lions inside. The quay, it were jammed with reporters when they docked on Australian soil. They didn't pretend to believe it, but were too good a story to spoil. And Albert soon picked up the language when he first saw the size of the fruit. There were no more "by gum" now or "champion." It were "wacko," "too right," and "you beaut." They gave him a wonderful fortnight, then from a subscription they made, sent him back as a parcel for Britain. Carriage forward, all expenses paid.